Do you ever wish that you could more powerfully, succinctly, and accurately speak to the message of your Christian faith and the Word of God? This is the book you need, The Magic Man in the Sky, Effectively Defending the Christian Faith. This book has been featured on TBN, Atlanta Live, dozens of radio programs, and hundreds of markets. It was rave reviewed by the Washington Times, and it was called a must-read book. Considering the times in which we now live, you need this book. Get it today on Amazon.com or the WND Superstore.
Our special guest on the Johnson Ford guest line is Gallups Calls, pastor of Hickory Hammock Baptist Church down in Milton, and as you can tell, very engaged in what's going on in our country. Carl, I have a question from a listener. Is that, as a man of God, why do you feel it's so important for you to be wrapped up with politics?
Oh, thank you. Thank you for asking me that, and give my blessings and regards to that listener, please. People ask me that all the time, and there's several reasons. Number one, because I'm a citizen. Number two, because I'm a voter. Number three, because I'm a taxpayer. Number four, because I'm a patriot. Number five, because I love the concept of our founding fathers, a constitutional republic, which gives me the freedom to preach the gospel. Number six, because our nation, the only nation in world history, founded completely upon a Judeo-Christian foundation, and I want to preserve that. And number seven, because in trying to preserve our constitutional republic and rule of law, it gives you and me, Lou, the freedom to do what we're doing right now.
Right.
To talk freely on the radio about the government, about the president, about what we like and don't like. It gives me the freedom to get in the pulpit every Sunday morning and proclaim that Jesus Christ is Lord, and then take that message to the workplace and the marketplace on Monday, and I don't go to jail for it. I don't have my head cut off. I'm not put in prison. My family isn't rounded up and put in prison. 64 nations of the world, Lou. If I preach what I preach every Sunday here, I would be killed and or my family would be imprisoned. 64 nations of the world. Lou, we are blessed beyond knowledge, beyond measure, beyond anything that people can imagine. If they would just get out and travel the world a little bit, like I have and like you have, I heard you talking about Mexico earlier, they would realize that we have something that must be preserved, and the only way to preserve it is to get involved, to be engaged. The founding of our nation, it happened because pastors, preachers, I know you and your audience have heard of the Black-Robed Regiment, a group of pastors and priests that united themselves together for the cause of freedom. They preached with the Bible in one hand, and a lot of them wore pistols strapped to their side while they did it during the Revolution. If pastors don't stay engaged, if Christians don't stay engaged, know what's going on, use their voice, vote, and get involved, this nation is gone. And when it's gone, and when our ability to worship in freedom is gone, when our ability to speak out like we're doing today is gone, then people will realize what they gave up, but it'll be too late. So I'm getting to be an old man, Lou. You and I both are. So,
hold it a minute. You've got a long way to go to catch me, my friend.
Well, maybe, but I'm still way past my prime. And so the deal is this. I am fighting for the liberties of my children and grandchildren. And I'm passionate about it. And when I say fighting, I haven't taken up arms against the government. I'm talking about politically and legally and constitutionally. The Declaration of Independence says that there may come a point where we must take up arms against those that are tyrannical over us. But I pray that we never see those days in America. I'm trying desperately to use the political, legal, and constitutional system to preserve our constitutional republic. So that's why I, as a pastor, becoming a pastor doesn't mean that you become a wimp.
That's right.
It doesn't mean that you disengage from society. It doesn't mean that you just sit around in a corner and preach the, quote, love of Jesus. I mean, being a pastor means that you are the salt and the light. You get involved. You stay engaged. You're a change agent, and for good, for righteousness, for the Word of God. So there's my short answer. You want to hear my long answer?
Well, we only got about 2.5 minutes, so. Well, our special guest, Carl Gallups, here on our Johnson Ford guest line. Carl's pastor of Hickory Hammock Baptist Church and author of the book, The Magic Man in the Sky, for post radio and TV shows. Well, I'll just throw it back in your court. You've got a couple minutes. What you got on your heart there?
Oh, goodness. Well, since we just only have a couple of minutes, I'll just say this. I'm a little distraught and very prayerful over the hypocritical decisions of the Supreme Court regarding marriage and homosexual marriage. I say hypocritical because in the one case on DOMA, Defense of Marriage Act, they basically ruled that the federal government had no right to set standards of who can be married and who can't. And so they based that on the 10th Amendment and the 14th Amendment, or the 10th Amendment. And then they turned right around and threw out the Proposition 8, which was a constitutional amendment in California, which made homosexual marriage illegal. They threw that out and remanded it back to, of all things, a federal court ruling, which took away the people's voice in California to define what marriage is. So on the one hand, they said the federal government has no right to define a marriage, and so they threw out DOMA. On the other hand, they said the federal government is going to tell California that they cannot define marriage like they want to define it. And they they threw out Proposition 8. So it's completely hypocritical. The Supreme Court has an agenda, and I see us going down a very dangerous path, a very dangerous spiritual path, and the radical homosexual movement is hot on the heels of these rulings, and so I'm very prayerful and outspoken on this as well.
Carl, I always wish we had more time. It's always a pleasure having you aboard. I look forward to seeing you on Sunday.